Aaron with Growlon. Today I'm going to be doing a quick little demonstration on Manuscript and Tribute Total for Dallisgrass control. It's September 11th, 2020, and what I've done is I put a gallon of water in this Manuscript jug that we're going to use, and then I have my Tribute Total over there. I want to mix these in front of everybody just so there's no scams. You guys know who I'm talking about too. There's some videos going on right now on YouTube, and I'm not going to mention any names, but you know who I'm talking about. So first of all, I got 1 gallon of water. I'm going to mix this Manuscript up, and it says to use Monument with it, so I'm going to use 2 of these packets. Each one of these packets is 0.5 grams. So I'm going to come back after this initial treatment in about 30 days, and I'm going to treat it again and do a follow-up application, and then I'm going to only use 1 packet of Monument in that one. So, but for today's demonstration, I'm going to put 2 packets of Monument in this 1 gallon of water. I've also added ammonium sulfate to this water. We started with a pH of about 7.4, 7.5, somewhere in there. That's Burleson, Texas water. Fort Worth water is going to be around 7.8, 7.9, depending on what day it is. But so I got my Monument in there, and now I'm going to mix up my Manuscript. I have 0.96 ounces per gallon of Manuscript. I put them in these tip and pour, so when I'm out in the field, I can measure accurately. And with this Manuscript, it comes with this surfactant called Atigor. You could probably put this in your gas tank and run your car off this sucker. It really smells like gas, but it's 0.64 ounces per gallon of this Atigor surfactant. And again, I got my water to a pH of 6.5 before I started, and I used ammonium sulfate to get there. So I have all my products in here, and I have my sprayer labeled so I don't get confused. I have a property in Crowley, Texas that we're going to treat today, and one in Burleson. I live in Burleson, so both of those properties are close to my house. So here's my ammonium sulfate. I didn't use this much, but I probably used about, used about that much in about 2 gallons of water, and it got me to the 6.5 pH. So here is our Tribute Total. Here are my rates. I'm going to be putting 3.2 milliliters in a gallon of water. I've filled this up to 2 gallons, so I'm going to be actually putting 6.4 milliliters in this, because I go through a lot more Tribute Total. I'm going to use this for other stuff, just not today's demonstration. You can always use Tribute Total on large crabgrass, nutsedge, buttonweed, sort of thing. Gosh, I hope this is 6.
That was 6.
That's 6? Okay. I wasn't counting. Yes, I wanted 6 of those. And I want 0.5 ounces of methylated seed oil per gallon. So I'm going to need 1 ounce in this 2 gallons of water. So that's pretty close. That's real close to 1 ounce. That's as close as I can get. And again, I added the ammonium sulfate to these, both of these before we started. So I did that behind the scenes. So then I'm just going to put this lid on here like this. Give it a shake. And my truck's really not this dirty ever, is it, dear?
It's always that dirty.
So these are going to lay down for the ride. Stay tuned. See you at the properties. Go. All right, so now we're at the property in Burleson with the Dallisgrass problem. And so I'm going to spray half of this yard with Tribute, and then I'm going to use the other half Manuscript. And so right now I'm going to start with the Tribute. I did have to mix up another batch in the back of the truck, so I did run out of the other property. And so the manuscript for this property won't have monument in it. And I did text the customer and I asked them not to mow for at least 2 days. Because if you treat this and you cut all the parts off that you treated by mowing it, it's not going to work. So if you're in the lawn care business and you have a technician or yourself, you're treating a yard and it's Thursday or Friday and you know you're coming up on the weekend and the yard needs to be mowed, I'd send your customer a personal text message from, probably from your phone, to say, hey, I treated your, fill in the blank weed. Don't mow for a couple days or longer. All right, so I'm gonna stop right here, and then I'm gonna go this way. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to spray this side of the yard with Tribute and that side with Manuscript. There's a lot over there. Plenty. Good thing about this Tribute Total is I can hit the nut sedge. There's some Star of Bethlehem coming up. Probably not going to kill that. You'll see that Star of Bethlehem come up after periods of a lot of rain. Usually in the spring and the fall you'll see it pop up. I don't really treat a whole lot of it. It's not a huge problem in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. But I think Star of Bethlehem, I think you would treat that with Dismiss. Don't quote me on that. Look that up for yourself. So if you have Star of Bethlehem, read the label of Dismiss. So these areas over here, these little brown areas, over here and over here, that's drought stress. That's not fungus. So Bermuda grass lawns don't get fungus in the summertime. Just ask a golf course superintendent how often they apply fungicides to their fairways, and they're going to tell you never. But there's a lot going around on certain Facebook groups and that sort of thing, and people are putting a lot of this disease X out for, things that aren't disease. And this happens quite often. Like, for example, this is fairy ring. This mushrooms right here, that doesn't hurt your grass. You don't need a fungicide for that. It'll go away when it dries out. Now, a couple of things you do have to worry about with fairy ring is the yard or the ground, the soil getting hydrophobic. So that is a concern. It's a mild concern. It's not something I would worry about. In that case, if it did get hydrophobic, you just spread a wetting agent on it and until the problem goes away, and you're good to go. So I'm just going to go back and hit this area. So I stopped right here. I'm just going ahead and finish this area out, and then I'm going to treat the other side of the driveway with the Manuscript. And again, that's the Manuscript that doesn't have any monument in it. The other property in Crowley, that it had a Manuscript and monument. And I'm optimistic of the results. Now this is blue stem. I'm not going to spray the blue stem. It'd be a waste of time. Again, there's no selective control for blue stem. Oh, switch. So I use right about a gallon. So I was talking about earlier the importance of like adding ammonium sulfate to your spot treatment mix and your herbicides in general. And the reason why I do that, two reasons. Why, when I'm spot treating, it increases the efficacy by forcing the plant to grow. The plant's going to take up more of the product, and then it balances out the pH in the water. So if I mix up this Manuscript or Tribute Total or insecticides or that sort of thing, it has what's called a half-life. So if I mix up this product now, tomorrow it's going to be half as effective. But if I can get my pH of the water correct, the product will last longer. At Growlon, we mix up these spot treatment doses in these 1 to 2 gallon jugs so we can keep our product fresh. So a technician will typically fill up 2 to 3 times a day for this spot treatment canister anyway. Not the big tanks, they fill up once a day with those, but these kind of backpack sprayers, they might fill up a couple times a day. Ooh, this is heavy over here. But if you're just starting out in lawn care, and let's say you only have a few lawns to do in a day and you want to mix up a gallon of Tribute or something, adding some of the ammonium sulfate to balance out the water pH, I mean, you'll get a couple more days out of it. I wouldn't sit on it for too long because it is going to fade on you. And this is true for insecticides too. Like our mosquito control, we don't add ammonium sulfate to it, but we'll add vinegar to the water because the pH of the water of Fort Worth, the water we use for our chemicals at Growlon, is around 7.8 or 7.9. And so we have a certain amount of vinegar that we add to our mosquito spray. And we also keep it fresh. Before we leave out in the morning, we mix it up fresh every morning, and it doesn't sit. And we only mix enough up to do that particular route that day and maybe 1 or 2 extra customers. So if we fill up, like say for example 100 gallons, we may only come back with 10 gallons at the end of the day. So stay tuned and let's see the results on this Dallisgrass. Hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff, because I'm about out of Manuscript. And all right, I'm gonna start with the Tribute. We are at the Burleson property now. It does look like the Dallisgrass is hiding under that canopy. This is all just covered in Dallisgrass before.
Yeah, it wasn't hiding last time.
No. All right. So now I'm just gonna look for the Dallisgrass over here. It was kind of hit or miss in this part of the yard. Them other grass too tall. Way too tall. So we could do a little Rio Mambo trick to where we just walk in and go sit right at the bar on the patio and not have to wait an hour. So if you're in Burleson and it's a Friday and you're gonna go eat at the busy time, which is like between 6:30 and 7:30, just go right to the patio bar. You'll sit right down. You wiped out all the nutsedge. Of course, this isn't a video on nutsedge, but if you're wanting to kill nutsedge, Tribute Total will do it. It's the sedge hammer that's in the product that's working on the nutsedge. So Tribute Total is a combination of Celsius, sedge hammer, and revolver. And the revolver part of it's the why you can't use it on St. Augustine. So if you want to make your own version of kind of Tribute Total that's safe for St. Augustine, you could just mix Sedgehammer and Celsius together. I'm not sure that would kill Dallisgrass, but yeah, he didn't like me treating his grass. Yeah, the nutsedge is definitely all gone. Kudos to the Sedgehammer in this product. Yeah, all right, so I'm gonna go get the Manuscript. And these kids up there playing over there probably think I'm some kind of movie star or something. Who's that fat guy over there spraying that stuff? All right, before we do spray the Manuscript, we're gonna do a soil moisture test and compare the Crowley to the Burleson. Man, this one's worse. Check that out. That's all the soil moisture we got, boys and girls. So yeah, these applications would work a lot better if the plants are more actively growing. Now on the other side, I do think that they mowed within 2 days of the application. I came by here to check on it, just kind of randomly drove by, and I noticed that that section over there was mowed, but this wasn't. This wasn't mowed over here, but that was. So I'm not sure what happened there, but maybe, yeah, maybe the neighbors came over and yeah. The difference in this one is the first time I didn't have Monument in this one, on this side. So I have Monument in it this time. So this didn't really get phased at all. It was mowed off, so it's not the product's fault. So maybe we shouldn't judge this section over here, but I'm gonna spray it anyway. All right, so now we're done with this Burleson property. This side was the Tribute Total side. This side was the Manuscript. Stay tuned, we'll be back in a month.